Rashtarashatashmar Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashtarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashtarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Mahābhagavat Śrīla Gorksharas Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Nitilila Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashtarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashtarashatashmar Śrīla Bhakti Dayit Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Swaparshad Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Avishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Akadashi Shayan Akadashi Titi ki jai. Akadashi Titi Palan Paribhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Dandavat Pranams Raseshwari Mataji and Prajumna Prabhu. Oh, it's tomorrow for you guys, huh? Akadashi. So yeah, today we're taking a little break from our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. And we'll continue reading on from tomorrow. But today I wanted to read about Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So, or some kathā by him also. So let me share my screen. So this is what Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja spoke. Let's see. For the occasion, oh wait, let me make this screen big. For the occasion of Śrīla Mahāraja's Avirbhav Titi, Shayan Akadashi, a 2-day festival was organized at Sri Gopinath Gaudiya Math in Puri. About 700 devotees attended the festival on both of the days. One day prior to his Avirbhav Titi, Śrīla Mahārāja arrived at Sri Gopinath Gaudiya Math and stayed there for 3 days. During those 3 days, the essence of what Śrīla Mahārāja spoke is as follows. Guru Maharaja's mercy on a fallen person like me. This is what they say. On the occasion of the Avirbhav Titi of this fallen person, so many Vaishnavas have come to bestow their blessings. I consider this as my greatest fortune. My physical state is impaired, so much so that now I am even incapable of going for a darshan of Vaishnavas by myself. Yet, unable to restrain my greed to obtain the mercy of the Vaishnavas, I have come here, even in this state, to be among you all. Earlier, I would walk with the help of a stick, later by putting my arm around the shoulder of a servant. But now, what to speak of ascending the stairs? I can't even go from my bed to the bathroom by myself. 2 servants have to lift me up and take me around. regardless of where I go. In reality, instead of giving my introduction in my own words, let me introduce myself through the words of my Guru Varga. Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 5:205-206. Jagai madai hoite mui se papishta, puri shera kita hoite mui se laghishta. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. Mor nama shune je tar punya khoi, mor nam loe je tar papa hoy. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. After introducing himself in this way, Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī has said while describing the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Emona nirgrina more keba kripa kore, eka Nityananda binu jagata bhitore. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? In the same way, who else can be as merciful as the Prakash Vigraha of that Sri Nityananda Prabhu? In other words, the non-different form of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, my Guru Pad Padma, Shishimad Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswāmī Mahārāja, who, during the initial days of my mat vas, to cut the hard knots in my heart, despite himself being most worshipful, as well as being the object of my service, had made arrangements for so many facilities for a conditioned soul like myself, replete with the compassion of a guardian, with Vatsalya. Guru Maharaj nurtured me in every way, just like his offspring, by engaging me in various services. Being devoid of seeing faults in others, simply by focusing on my insignificant qualities, on that foundation, he inspired me to march forward on the path of devotion. Bhurutasya pashyati gurunapi na paradhan. In other words, by adhering to the policy of not seeing any faults of the servitor, Guru Maharaj did not fall short of compassionately awarding all kinds of services to an unqualified and offensive person like myself, compelled to take an elevated seat. Although all you Vaishnavas are seated on the floor and I have taken an elevated seat, that doesn't mean that I am senior to you all, and consequently you are junior to me, and that I am the object of your service and you are my servants. I am not so unwise to haughtily take an elevated seat while making all the Vaishnavas and my Guru Varga, the non-different manifestation of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, sit below. But I am only circumstantially compelled to do so. Even then, I am not crestfallen due to this, because once during the time of Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama, I was appointed to carry around the deity of Sriman Mahaprabhu in my hands. When Guru Maharaj sat with many other disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he asked me to sit ahead of everyone holding the deity of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Seeing my hesitating, Guru Maharaj told me, Garuda serves by staying above, Hanumanji serves by being at the feet, Yashoda serves Krishna by twisting his ears, cowherd boys serve Krishna by climbing on his shoulders, and gopis serve Krishna by making him massage their feet. Therefore, in the realm of devotion, in the realm of love, there are many types of services. That is why, for the objectives of service, if you have to sit ahead of us or behind us, or above us, below us, or if you have to give us something or take something from us, in any condition, do not hesitate in the slightest bit. Instead, give service the utmost precedence every time. I am praying for your blessings. Hence, despite taking an elevated seat, I, who got trained up in Guru Maharaj, in his Guru Maharaj's teachings, and who considers his ideal as the topmost, my Guru Maharaj's ideal is the topmost. I am desirous of serving you all by receiving your blessings and fulfilling your innermost desire. Due to the limitation of physical capability, I will accept your blessings by sitting on a higher level. Therefore, I have firm faith that for me, who has forgotten Krishna, being Bahirmukh, being turned away from Krishna, from beginningless time, and who am the lowest, constantly feel afflicted by the pangs of material miseries awarded by Maya. My Param Bandhav, the bosom friends of Vaishnavas, who are manifestation of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and remind one of Guru Vaishnav's Bhagavan, will not deprive me of their blessings, seeing me seated higher. I specifically pray to them that they, being pleased, bless me that until the last moment of my life, life after life, I keep serving the devotees and Bhagavan. Let my heart not wander anywhere, even for one muhurta, aside from their service. Even my heart and mind not wander anywhere, even for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, aside from their service, because their service itself is topmost. All those who have become the servants of Prabhu, as well as those who will become in the future, holding a straw between my teeth, in other words, realizing that I have simply passed my life like a witless beast, only for the sake of sense gratification, like eating and so on. You all are my deliverers. Praying thus to Bhagavan, I offer my salutations unto the feet of everyone. By meditating on these words, prostrating myself, I beg for everyone's mercy, an opportunity to serve. I am even incapable of offering Shashtang or Panchang Pranam. Still, as per the words of this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Kayana Vacha Manasandriyer Va Buddhyatmana Van Srita Sabhavat Karoti Yad Yat Sakalam Parasmai Naranayeti Samarpayat Tat. In accordance with the particular nature one has acquired in conditioned life, whatever one does with body, words, mind, senses, intelligence, or purified consciousness, one should offer to the Supreme, thinking, this is for the pleasure of Lord Narayan. Despite not being in the position to serve with my body, I am dedicating my mind, words, senses, intelligence, and chitta to the goal of love for the Vaishnavas. On this titi, despite my desire to serve the Vaishnavas, due to the lack of any place and manpower, I became infused with enthusiasm by the temple presidents, Sri Gopinath Das Babaji Maharaj and Sri Vangsi Vadan Prabhu of Sri Gopinath Gauriya and Sri Damodar Gauriya making both of them instruments. Guru Maharaj bestowed upon me the wonderful opportunity of Vaishnav Seva. Obeisances to all those who are serving. Secondly, it is not that only when service is rendered in great quantity that it is considered as great service. For victory over Lanka, when the bridge was being built by Ram, just as the extensive service rendered by Hanuman and the other monkeys was noticed by Lord Ram, similarly, the insignificant service rendered by a squirrel also successfully attracted the Lord's attention, although it went unnoticed by others. Therefore, service is a feeling of the heart, and not an external exhibition. If service is rendered in exchange of something, it is not considered service. In this assembly, there are many such devotees present who not only perform many services themselves, but also get many services done through the medium of many people who have neither interacted with me, nor have I interacted with them even once in my life. These devotees, despite externally appearing as my disciples, due to their service inclination, are performing the function of being my guru. whosoever's name I could, or I could not recall, due to the weakening of retention power, I express my appreciation towards all of them, and I thank all of them. By body, mind, wealth, by bestowing enthusiasm, whosoever has helped me in any capacity, I befittingly offer my obeisances to everyone and worship their feet. Oh, there's a full series of these classes. Let's check this out. Remembrance and separation. Yeah, my God, though. See, and Śrīla Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Vyas Puja Day, how much humility. Let's see what there. Here's some Vyas Puja address by Śrīla Mahārāja. The mantras received from Śrīla Bhakti Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. The mantra received from. These are interesting. Let's read this. A few self-written ideals. So this is Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj wrote this. Let me take this off. To all the devotees from all over the world who have taken shelter through Harinam, Diksha or Sannyas at the lotus feet of Śrīla Mahārāja, which award fearlessness, are those who are fixed in the shiksha awarded by him. I am desirous of taking the dust from their feet upon my head, and I am praying to attain the same wealth. Lastly, bowing my head, I beg for forgiveness in case there is any kind of lapse or error in my written offering. And I conclude my offering by mentioning a few self-written ideal principles of Śrīla Mahārāja. Okay, so this is the end of Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj's offering to Śrīla. So these are some of the self-written principles of Śrīla Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. He wrote, in my whole life, I have never told anyone to accept Harinam Diksha from my Guru Maharaj or any other Vaishnav. Rather, I made everyone hear the glories of Harinam and Kathā. My thinking was, why should I insist upon anyone accepting Harinam, when upon the development of faith, that individual will himself say that I am desirous of accepting Harinam? That's a really important, relevant instruction now, also. I never asked any devotee who came to my close association whose shelter he had taken, which institution he belonged to, or consequently, how I could meet with him again. Because just by seeing someone adorned with the signs of a Gaudiya devotee, I accepted him like our own family. Oh man, this is something that you really saw in Śrīla Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's life, is he didn't care at all all he saw was the tilak on your forehead. But he would deal with his own god brother, somebody who was his own god brother, or somebody who was a disciple of somebody else in the same exact way. He never made any distinction between whose disciple you are and like that. He really lived up to that. 3. I never went back on my words after having promised anyone, regardless of any amount of inconvenience or obstacles it caused. In my whole life, I was never frivolous with anyone. I never got jokes with anyone, and never tried to woo anyone. What to speak of using something that belongs to using something that belongs to someone else? I never even touched it. 6. I never left things to be done on a given day to the next day. I would manage my responsibilities in such a way that even if for some reason I was not available the next morning, no one would be inconvenienced. Only by seeing my diary, everything will be crystal clear. Oh, I didn't know he had a diary like that. I never compromised with anyone when it came to Siddhanta, nor bowed before anyone. I never gave anyone dishonest advice. I gave the best possible advice according to my understanding. 9. To all the devotees who approached me in a mood of surrender, I tried to bestow fearlessness upon them, as per my capacity, and always tried to serve them to the best of my ability. I never misplaced anything due to negligence, and nothing in my custody was ever stolen. 11. In my life, I never quarreled with anyone, and I never retaliated despite 1,000 abuses or if someone got angry with me. 12. Even in my dreams, I never disregarded the order of my Guru Maharaj, that whenever the opportunity for Vaishnav Seva arises, never let it go. Who knows if such an opportunity may even be available in the future. I could never become a yes man in my life. 14. Without being asked, I never objected or offered my advice to anyone or something. I never objected or offered my advice to anyone on something they were doing, were about to do, or did. Interesting. Is this also by... I don't know who wrote this one. I think this is also Madhav Prabhu and Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj, I think. But anyways, let's just read. You read. Oh, let me just check this connection's still working. Okay, it is. Oh, it's not showing up on Facebook? That's interesting. I don't know why that is. Oh, and presumably you want me to send you the link. Okay, 1 second. I'll just post it here. Okay, you'll see it in the comments. There. Alright, so let's continue. Virtue above inconvenience. One remarkable characteristic of Śrīla Mahārāja was, whenever he accepted responsibility for or commenced any service, he would become so absorbed in it that all else would fade into oblivion. Having once imbibed something as truth or given his word to someone, he would never retract, no matter how much inconvenience was required to honor his promise. Even in the seemingly most inconsequential incidents, one would be astonished to hear his astutely subtle and deep viewpoints, which was always pursuant to scriptural doctrine. We will present 2 such anecdotes, as recounted by Śrīla Mahārāja, depicting these special qualities in him. First incident. Once, while residing in Sri Dham Mayapur, I, along with many other devotees, contracted chickenpox and was incapacitated to render any service. However, when I remembered Tat Kripa Avalokana, seeing Bhagavan's mercy in every situation, which is one of the 64 limbs of devotional service, I saw my present situation also as auspicious. I considered, generally, being engaged in some service or the other, there is no opportunity to study scriptures. But now I can study the scriptures for as long as I like. Therefore, I began reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. As I read on, I became so engrossed and blissful that I would not feel like putting the book down even for a moment. At that time, Shripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, told the other brahmacharis, "Please keep an eye on him, lest he become insane by incessantly reading the scripture." Anyhow, I actually did not experience the agony of chickenpox at all, because most of my time was spent reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Upon hearing that some devotees were suffering from chickenpox, Guru Maharaj wrote a letter to the then temple president of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, Sridham Mayapur, Sri Bhakti Prasad Ashram Maharaj, informing him to provide a special diet such as halava and puri, etc., to those who were suffering. Although Sri Ashram Maharaj related to us the contents of Guru Maharaj's letter and his instructions about the special prescribed diet, he was unable to provide that diet for us, whatever the reason may have been. At that time, some brahmacharis began to urge me, you always have an active correspondence with Guru Maharaj through letters, so you should certainly keep Guru Maharaj abreast. I don't even know that word. Up to date with the news and ideas. Okay. Abreast. Interesting. Okay. So you should certainly keep Guru Maharaj abreast of the facts that we are not being provided the diet he prescribed and about the overall situation. I replied, if for some reason Sri Ashram Maharaj is unable to follow the order of Guru Maharaj, then that should be a matter of his concern, not ours. Why should we become despondent over this? Secondly, I cannot demand anything from Guru Maharaj, because when I had expressed my desire to permanently reside at the Math, I had not entered into any agreement stating that I will serve, but all of you should take care of me in special circumstances. Therefore, it is only appropriate to spend this time howsoever we can, while depending on Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan. Then two of the brahmacharis spoke. We have intimated our family members by letter. They will definitely make some arrangement or other. If you wish, you can also write those from your Purva Ashram, your life before joining the Math, to request something. I replied, if I write to my ex-relatives, I know that they will certainly make some arrangement. But even still, I will not do so, because despite the fact that they have fulfilled my various necessities for many years, I have not done anything for them in exchange. By becoming a brahmachari, I indirectly declared my lack of support to them. And now, upon experiencing a little inconvenience, is it befitting to ask them for help? Sheerly out of shame, I will never be able to do such a thing. After a couple of days, one brahmachari approached me. My father has sent some money to me. I will get something for everyone out of that money, he suggested. Hearing him, I exclaimed, don't you dare get me anything using that money. I will not accept anything, so do not bring anything to me. Petrified, the brahmachari left. After a couple of days, two of my godbrothers, Shri Nitai Datta and Shri Keshav Mukherjee, came to Sridham Mayapur for a few days. Seeing the devotees afflicted with chickenpox, they were inspired to arrange prasadam for all of us, as per the prescribed diet. Then onwards, this belief became firmly rooted in my heart, that if we are desirous to advance on the path of truth, then by the inspiration of Bhagavan, even unknown and unlikely personalities will come forward and provide exactly whatever is necessary. Second incident. One time I was in Hyderabad with the preaching party of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. On the day that we were to return to Kolkata, while I was dressing after my morning bath, my foot suddenly slipped, and I fell in such a way that my left hand hit the bed with such force that I endured 2 internal injuries, which were excruciatingly painful. I requested one devotee to inform the devotees bound for Kolkata that I could not be able to accompany them, and if possible, they should cancel my ticket, as I would need to be taken to the hospital. That devotee did not heed my words. At any rate, Eventually, I was taken to the hospital. I felt I had fractured my hand. Thus, I suggested they request the physician to attend to me first. The physician, however, dismissed the request, saying, if it was indeed a fracture, then he would have created a big commotion. If it was indeed a fracture, then it would have created a big commotion, screaming at the top of his lungs due to the pain. So please wait your turn patiently. I will attend to him shortly. Later, the physician first took an X-ray and saw that my hand was fractured in 2 places. Thereafter, while applying a plaster-like bandage to the physician inquired, Maharaj, even in the case of 1 fracture, people become restless, screaming in pain. How did you manage to remain unperturbed despite 2 fractures? I replied, would screaming relieve my pain? Till date, I haven't heard that there is any relief through screaming. Happiness and distress appear in accordance to one's destiny. Therefore, I consider it my duty to follow, to the best of my ability, the words of Bhagavad Gita. Dukesh vanudvigna mana, sukeshu vigataspiha. One should not become disturbed upon the appearance of distress. Let's see what else is here in this remembrance and separation. What's this? The mantras received from Shiksha Gurus. This is interesting. Oh, and I should probably read Śrīla Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's bio, right? That might be nice. Okay, let's see this. Although I received my Diksha mantras from my Guru Padma, I received various mantras in the form of teachings from the many disciples of Srila Prabhupada. During his stay at the Mutt, Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj not only had the topmost opportunity of getting personal association and rendering service to his Gurudev, but alongside that, he also received the greatest fortune of rendering intimate service to many of the stalwart disciples of Srila Prabhupada. As a result of such service, he received their spontaneous affection and profuse blessings to realize the deep truths of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. In this process, he gradually also received priceless Shiksha mantras, which naturally fortified the Diksha mantras from his Gurudev's godbrothers. In other words, from his Shiksha Gurus, Shishimad Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Goswami Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Vichar Yajavar Goswami Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and Shishimad Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj. Receiving those Shiksha mantras with great prudence, assiduity, I don't know that word. Assiduity? Anyways, means constant or close attention to what one is doing. Okay, yeah, I get this now, yeah. And gravity. So receiving those mantras with prudence, assiduity, and gravity. Śrīla Mahārāja followed them impeccably throughout his life, thereby proving his caliber of being a remarkably qualified disciple. His Diksha as well as Shiksha Gurus would become overcome with delight and deep spiritual sentiments time and again, seeing him always engaged with ardent commitment in services, such as the acquisition of land for the mats, construction of the mats, preaching, serving cows, monthly fundraising, organizing Sri Vrajamandal, Sri Gauramandal, and Sri Kshetramandal Dham parikramas, as well as pilgrimages to South India, North India, and so on, organizing and managing various festivals, rendering personal service to the Vaishnavas. In other words, taking advantage of whichever service opportunity presented itself. As a result, Śrīla Mahārāja's Guru Parma, Śrīmad Bhakti Dayit Madhav Goswami Maharaj, awarded him with the title Upadeshak, mentor, and later with the title Seva Vigraha, embodiment of service, through the medium of Sri Chaitanya Vani Pracharini Sabha. Śrīmad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswami Maharaj conferred upon him the title Nirmatsara Vaishnav, being a non-envious devotee, while Sri Madan Mohan Setha, another disciple of Srila Prabhupada, ornamented him with the title Mukta Purush, a liberated personality. This is from the Shri Gaur Ashirvad Patra. See, they write a whole Sanskrit verse here. What does it say? It's really not clear, the writing, but let's see. Brahmachari Suchi, Brahmachari Suchi Paka Shri Narottama Sangyakam Chikitsa. Anyways, whatever, there's these Sanskrit verses written for Srila Bhāratī Maharaj. Oh, it's more clear here. Chikitsa Vishaye Vigya Alasya Rahito Kama Kshama, Satatam Yatni. Anyways, let's see. What does it say? Shri Mayapura Chandra Vijayate Tamam, awarded by Sri Chaitanya Vani Pracharini Sabha. 1. Pure and expert in all undertakings, Sri Narottam Brahmachari is knowledgeable in the subject of medicine, devoid of laziness and forbearing. Narottam Brahmachari was his name before he took sannyas. 2. He is always endeavoring to fulfill any service-related responsibility. And besides being expert in many other services, he is also skilled at various services related to the construction of Sri Mandir. Sri Narottam Brahmachari, who is possessed with such exalted qualities, was previously awarded the title Upadeshak, mentor, by the committee of saints. And now he is being ornamented with the title Seva Vigraha, embodiment of service. He is being awarded this title in Sri Gaur Dham on the auspicious appearance Tithi of Sri Gaur, Falguna Purnima, March 7th, 1966. Besides the aforementioned Mahabhagavat disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Śrīla Mahārāja also received various extraordinary mantras from other exalted disciples of Srila Prabhupada, such as Śrīmad Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Prakash Aranya Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Hriday Ban Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Vaikanas Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sarab Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Shrirup Siddhanti Goswami Maharaj, Shri Bhakti Lok Paramahansa Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Mukha Bhagavat Goswami Maharaj, Śrīmad Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, Srila Jagamohan Brahmachari, Srila Udharan Brahmachari, and so on. For the fear of this essay becoming exceedingly voluminous, at this juncture we are refraining from expounding the subject in detail, despite our desire to do so. By the virtue of a supremely pure personal precept, Śrīla Mahārāja is awarding the teaching that those who desire to progress in their spiritual lives must consider service unto and glorification of the illustrious Vaishnavas as their principal wealth, even above rendering service unto Bhagavan Sri Krishna and chanting his glories. They should regard service rendered unto the Vaishnavas as none different from service rendered unto Sri Guru. So let's see. The mantra received from Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Let me just see everything's okay. Yes. Assiduity. No, I don't know how you say that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Hey, it's not letting me look at it in reader view, so I'll just have to go like this. Receiving mantras replete with priceless teachings. Arg. It's not letting me. Let me try doing this. Because I'll just try copying this and I'll put it on a Word document. That way it'll be clear. There. I'll make this all a little bit smaller. That's weird. It's anyways, it's cutting all the words in half. I'll just try reading it anyways. Let's see. Okay. Śrīla Mahārāja used to say, although I received my Diksha mantras from my Guru Padma, I received various mantras from the many disciples of Srila Prabhupada. In other words, I received mantras in the form of the many teachings from them. Among those, we are presenting a few mantras here from the very words of Śrīla Mahārāja. So this is from Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Tranquility experienced only at the lotus feet of exalted Vaishnavas. Busily engaged in the service of Guru and Vaishnavas, I did not have the slightest inkling as to how 24 years passed before my Guru Maharaj devised his unmanifest pastime, his aprakat lila. Thereafter, Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj became our guardian. He would guide us on how to conduct ourselves, what we should do, what is appropriate and what is not, etc. Only at his lotus feet or in his shelter I would experience tranquility, nowhere else. The mantra received from Shishimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Once, Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj was ecstatically singing in front of Sri Jagannath's chariot. Se to parananatha painu, jaha lagi madana dahani jhuri genu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. There was a bag hanging from his shoulder, in which he would carry a kirtan book, bead bag, and other small miscellaneous items. Just as one pickpocket, sighting an opportunity, reached into Śrīla Puri Goswami Maharaj's bag, my godbrother Sri Narayan Kapoor caught that pickpocket's hand and began to loudly proclaim with great pride, "I have caught the pickpocket! I have caught the pickpocket!" Repeating this over and over again, he somehow managed to get the attention of Śrīla Puri Goswami Maharaj, who chastised him. Money will come and go. Whoever wants it may take it. But can this mood that has no... God, this is hard to read with words half cut. But can this mood that has now awakened be attained at all times? Yes, but can this mood that has now awakened be attained at all times? Sri Narayan Kapoor then said to me, I was only doing a good deed. I cannot understand why Maharaj chastised me in return." Although Sri Narayan Kapoor could not comprehend Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj's response, he accepted the essence of his words in the form of a mantra. When spontaneous bhav arises from Bhagavan, all other things become inferior in comparison. Once, under the guidance of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, I went to Shishimad Bhakti Sora Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj's mat in Mayapur to attend a deity installation festival. While honoring Prasad, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj made me sit next to him. Srila Bhakti Sura Bhaktisar Goswami Maharaj, with his own hands, served processed rice onto Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj's plate. And because I was seated next to Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, he served that same rice onto my plate as well, in spite of being my Guru Varga. Prior to that day, neither Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj nor myself had ever accepted parboiled rice in our entire life. Yeah, in Bengal, they pre-cook the rice. Lots of times you can get, it's called siddha chawal. It's rice that has been pre-cooked and then dried again in it. Yeah. So, reading my state of mind, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj said, and lots of people don't eat it because it's already been cooked by somebody else, you don't even know who cooked it. So that's why lots of Vaishnavas don't take that kind of rice. So, reading my state of mind, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj said, "Everything offered by a Vaishnava is nirgun, or transcendental," and he began to honor the rice prasad. Following Srila Maharaj's precept, I also honored the rice prasad, and from that day on, I accepted the words of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj as a mantra, and abided by them throughout my life. Once, my godbrother Sri Vishnu Prabhu and I were seated with Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj at Kolkata station in a train bound for Jagannath Puri. Upon noticing us, one very affluent Grihastha Vaishnava approached and began to heavily chastise Sri Vishnu Prabhu. Later, taking a large sum of donation in his hand, he offered it to Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj, who responded by saying, "You have committed an offense to a Vaishnava. What to speak of accepting anything from you? I don't wish to even speak or have any relationship with you." That affluent person said, "Maharaj, I wish to serve you. Please accept my offering." Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj retorted, "If I accept anything offered by you, then I will have to share the result of the offense you have committed. Therefore, I shall not accept anything from you." Despite his many endeavors, Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj did not accept anything from him. I noted those words of Srila Puri Goswami Maharaj as a mantra. By accepting anything offered by an offender, one has to share the result of his offense. Since then, I have followed this principle throughout my life. Let's read some of these other mantras. So that was from Srila Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj. I'm not going to read all of them because it will take too long. But let's see. Let's read the mantra received from my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. I'll copy it there so that I can make the text big. Come on. Okay. Okay, the mantra received from Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. For a certain period, on the order of my Guru Maharaj, I would daily visit Shri Devananda Gaudiya Math in Navadvip to take dictation from Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj and later have it edited by Srila Śrīla Goswami Maharaj. At one point, Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj filed a court case against Srila Bhakti Keval Odolomi Goswami Maharaj, the then Acharya of Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. He accused him and his supporters of not being real followers of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as they had rejected 1. The loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 2. The saffron dress of the sannyas order, and 3. The performance of Shri Navadvip Dham Parikrama. He therefore asserted that they were not worthy of being called disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and hence they had no right to reside in the mats established by him. The day before the judge was to present the verdict, Srila Odolomi Goswami Maharaj awarded sannyas to 8 of his disciples. The next day, before arriving to court, donning saffron-colored sannyas vesh, and accompanied by all his disciples and followers, he loudly chanted Harinam Sankirtan around the whole town. In the presence of the judge, he said, We have arrived here clad in saffron, holding our sannyas dandas in hand amidst the loud chanting of Harinam Sankirtan. We have even established a mat in Godrumadvip in the name of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and have established his murti in that mat as well. Who then can claim in any way that we are not the disciples of Srila Prabhupada? The judge awarded the decision in favor of Srila Odolomi Goswami Maharaj and his followers. Thus, Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj had apparently lost the case. I said to Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, You and your godbrothers have invested a lot of effort into this case. So now, having lost it, won't you resubmit your petition for a review of the verdict of the court? Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj replied, We will do that only if they stop following Srila Prabhupada's teachings again. My sole objective was to make them follow the directions of Srila Prabhupada, and now we have observed that they are indeed doing this. Thus, in reality, the victory is ours. Although they have won the case externally, factually they have lost, as they were unsuccessful in all of their attempts to act whimsically and contrary to the conclusive truths. We were only fighting to establish Vishuddha Siddhanta, supremely pure conclusive truth, and to maintain their connection with Srila Prabhupada. We have no other motivation. While Srila Prabhupada was physically present, Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj desired to buy a piece of Muslim-owned land adjacent to Srivas Angan. The Muslim owner, however, being displeased with the growing influence of Sri Chaitanya Math in Mayapur, was unwilling to sell that land to them. Impelled by some circumstances, when Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj officially separated from Sri Chaitanya Math and formed his own organization called Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, that Muslim owner very gladly sold that land to him. As soon as the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Math came to know Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj had acquired that land, they broke its boundary wall and claimed it to be part of their property. When I reported this to Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he laughingly said, That is absolutely fine. I do not have any reservations with it. During Srila Prabhupada's presence, I wanted to acquire that land from the Muslims. Seeing that we owned all the surrounding property except for this small piece of land owned by those who had opposed to the activities of Bhakti, that greatly pains me. I did not purchase this land for my own enjoyment, but solely with an objective of service unto Srila Prabhupada. If Sri Chaitanya Math has claimed that land, it is not an offense. Rather, it is my fortune that they have taken that land for the service of Srila Prabhupada. After that,
he gave me the following mantra as a teaching. We are not here to deal in real estate business. Our only aim and objective is to serve Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas. Wow, that's beautiful. Let's see. Let's read the mantras received from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And who else? And Shishimad Bhakti. It doesn't finish. Yeah, it doesn't say. I think I'm just going to read this and then we'll end with this. Oh, maybe at the end we can read Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's bio. It's short, his bio. Wait 1 second, let me do something just to make. Wait, what am I doing? Whatever. Sorry, that was dumb. Sorry guys, I'm a bit tired. My brain's not working. Okay. The mantra received from Shishimad Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. One day, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja instructed me, saying, you should never lay emphasis on the rhythm, musical meter, melody, and other nuances of kirtan. Instead, always focus on its deep meaning and try to follow the inner mood of the Vaishnava who composed it. On another occasion, he instructed me, try to become Ugra Shrava, that is, always hear the narrations of Bhagavan's pastimes exclusively from the lotus lips of advanced devotees, for such narrations are tremendously powerful. I inquired, Maharaj, how will it be possible for me to always hear from advanced devotees? Srila Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja replied, everything is possible through the medium of service. Serve advanced devotees whenever you receive the opportunity to do so. On yet another occasion, while sharing some incident from his life, he said to me, one time, your Guru Maharaj, Srila Madhav Maharaj, requested me to chair a debate held in Madras between Dr. Radhakrishnan, a strong proponent of the school of Advaitavad, and Dr. Nagaraj Sharma, a firm promoter of Dvaitavad, duality. So one who is a proponent of impersonalism and one who is a proponent of duality. In my opening address, I explained, although I am not qualified to act as a chairman for this debate, I have become inclined to accept this position only in trying to keep the instruction of the Vaishnavas upon my head. Dvaitavadi, who believes in duality, Dvaitavadi Dr. Nagaraj Sharma refuted my stance, saying, it is not incumbent on the Vaishnavas to exhibit their humility in all places and circumstances. In my concluding speech, I responded to this statement saying, to the extent one remains in advanced association, to that extent humility naturally manifests in him. And to the extent one remains in an inferior association, that much more pride is born within him. By the influence of advanced association, the mood of dasosmi, I am your servant, appears in Vaishnavas by the influence of inferior association. And the mood of aham brahmasmi, I am Brahma, the absolute truth, appears in non-Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas do not exhibit show-bottle humility, Rather, spontaneous humility manifests in their hearts innately by virtue of advanced association. In this manner, I received from Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja the following mantras. Always focus on the deep meaning of the kirtan and follow the innermost moods of the Vaishnavas who composed it. Become Ugra Shrava. Always be situated in spontaneous humility, born from an Ugra Shrava. We just read that. Anyways, always be situated in spontaneous humility, born from the influence of advanced association. This is the key to unearthing the profound meaning of the doctrine, Trinadapi Sunichena, as preached by Śrīman Mahaprabhu. Okay, we'll read this also. The mantra received from Srimad Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Once, while Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja manifested a sickness pastime, I brought a portable commode made of cane from Navadip for him. When Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja saw it, he told me, I can never use this commode, because every time I attended to nature's call, some Vaishnava will have to clean it. In my entire life, I never considered any Vaishnava to be my servant. I always regarded all the Vaishnavas as worthy of my service, whether they happen to be my seniors or juniors. I have not come to the mat to serve Bhagavan, but with the objective to serve the Vaishnavas. Service to Bhagavan can be obtained anywhere. However, an opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas is extremely rare. I received this mantra from him and decided that I would lead my life not for the service of Bhagavan, but for the service of the Vaishnavas, and I would accept all Vaishnavas as objects of my service, regardless of them being my seniors or juniors. Alright, so I'm going to just read Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's bio, and then we can end for now. But yeah, if I sent the link to this page. There are so many different beautiful things that you can read. His childhood and receiving Brahminical samskars, his Upanaya samskar at the age of 8, acceptance of Harinama and Diksha, all these different things. I'm going to read this on my own a little bit later, but alright, let's just get this quick biography of his. Let me see if anybody's still there. Okay. Hari Bol, Manjari. Srimad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja made his divine appearance in this world in a Sri Chakravarti Brahman family, Bharadwaj Gotra, on the auspicious day of Shayana Kadashi in Sitarampur village in Bankura district, West Bengal on July 21st, 1926. A few disciples of Srimad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswami Maharaj, residing at Sri Shamananda Gaudiya Math, Medinipur, would regularly collect alms from the village where Śrīla Mahārāja was working as a teacher. Encouraged by them, Śrīla Mahārāja began frequenting Sri Shamananda Gaudiya Math for darshans and Srimad Bhagavatam discourses from the year 1944. There, Śrīla Mahārāja met one of the foremost disciples of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srimad Bhakti Dalit Madhav Goswami Maharaj, who he would later accept as his spiritual master. After years of interaction, having developed an affectionate relationship with Śrīla Madhav Goswami Maharaj, Śrīla Mahārāja left home in 1955 to reside at the newly established Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math at Kolkata, fully surrendering in the service of Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. That same year, he was awarded Harinam and Diksha on Shayan Akadashi and was given the name Shri Nartam Das Brahmachari. Shri Nartam Das was given the opportunity to intimately serve many direct disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, as a result of which he received their affection and profuse blessings to realize the deep moods of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Taking note of Sri Nartam Das's unyielding dedication and mood of service, Śrīla Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja awarded him sannyas in 1969 and the name Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Mahārāja. Having profound confidence in Śrīla Mahārāja's abilities, Śrīla Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja entrusted him with many critical assignments, such as managing the Mats Vraj Mandal and Navadip Dham Parikramas, escorting pilgrims to North and South India, arranging pradarshinies, exhibitions, preaching across India, and overseeing the construction of most of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math's branches, also appointing him as Assistant Secretary of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, and conferring upon him the title Seva Vigraha, along with a certificate that described him as Analasya, never lazy, and Sada Sartaka, always alert. After the disappearance of Śrīla Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja untiringly served as a secretary of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math for about 25 years. Śrīla Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja is renowned amongst the Saraswat Gaudiya Vaishnava community for his contribution towards the Sampradayic Seva of translating from Bengali to Hindi Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with the commentary of Śrīla Prabhupada, and Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita with the commentaries of Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Śrīla Prabhupada. Śrīla Mahārāja was a veteran amongst the 11th generation of descendants in the Bhagavat Parampara coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and was greatly respected for his unique realizations and vast depth of knowledge. He was especially known for his encyclopedic knowledge of Gaudiya Math history and his firm faith in Vaishnava Seva. Śrīla Mahārāja regarded glorifying and serving Vaishnavas and non-sectarianism as the greatest assets for spiritual advancement. He unfailingly checked his Panjika, his Vaishnava calendar, daily to ensure that he did not miss glorifying Vaishnavas on their appearance or disappearance days. He would firmly assert that it is the duty of every devotee to follow this practice, failing which constitutes an offense. In Śrīla Mahārāja's association, one would experience a deep sense of appreciation and attachment for Bhakti Vinod Dhara and all the predecessor acharyas. His mood brought one closer to the spiritual family of Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Śrīla Mahārāja witnessed 4 generations during his devotional lifespan, and thus served as a vital link to connect us back to the spiritual roots of Gaudiya Math, especially the mood with which his Guru Maharaj served and preached. His unique calling was to preserve, protect, and preach the legacy and gravity of the precept and teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his dear associates. Srila Mahāraja's Hari Katha is replete with fascinating anecdotes, coupled with his astonishing ability, even in his advanced age, to draw from his vast memory bank, the most relevant passages of the Vedic texts. His rich insights compel one to see things in a fresh perspective. His profound yet simplistic manner of addressing queries left one spiritually nourished. After years of selfless and uninterrupted service to the mission of his Gurudev, Srila Mahārāja accepted upon himself the grave responsibility of an initiating acharya as service to his Guru Varga, and founded the mission Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani Prachara Kendra to carry the legacy of Thakur Bhakti Vinod as preached by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his dear associates. If you go to this website, vcvani.com, you'll see there are lots of homages from devotees also. I was going to read Shamarani Mataji's homage, but it's getting late now, so I'm just going to end here. But yeah, check out this vcvani.com. Alright. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्रील भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्रील गोक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपनो गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति दायित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतस्मल श्री भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। सवरसाद श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाते गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री शयन अकारशी तिथि की जय। तिथि पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय च कृष्ण भक्ति पददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। धन्यवाद प्रणाम। Dhanyavad pranams Prajumna Prabhu and Mantra Murti Mataji and Rup Manjari and Ganga Didi. Dhanyavad pranams, Haribo. And Raseshwari Mataji, Haribo. Oh, one thing before I leave. There is in almost an hour and a half from now, there's going to be live glorifications on, I think, the Gopinath Bhavan page on Facebook. Let me just show you. Let's just look at this together really quick. Facebook. There's an announcement on Facebook. I just shared it to my page, but. Okay, so, remembering Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. VCV Sangha invites the sevaks, disciples, followers, and affectionate well-wishers of Sri Srimad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja for his Avirbhav Mahotsav 2021. Shri Gopinath Bhavan. Okay, so the Facebook, it's going to start from 10 a.m. onwards. Will be bhajans, pushpanjali, arati, and prasadam. And Facebook Live, they'll be on Facebook Live on the page Gopinath Bhavan Temple. And then tomorrow, at the same time, there'll be a program at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, also from 10 a.m. onwards. And that will be on Facebook Live on the group Shri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math Vrindavan. So anyhow, yeah. So that means in an hour and a half from now, I'm not sure if they're going to go live right on time, but anyways, you can check out the Gopinath Bhavan Temple page if you want to follow that program. Alright, Haribol.